Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors. Wow. Draymond Green and the Golden State Warriors. Are the Warriors better with or without Draymond at this point? What do I think about this? There's no denying that Draymond Green played a very pivotal role in what we have classified as a dynasty from the Golden State Warriors. There's no doubt about that. His presence, his contribution, productivity, his attitude, good or bad or indifferent, for the most part, has played a pivotal role in the identity of that dynasty and that franchise. But I really feel like this has definitely run its course. And it's kind of ran its course for a couple of years now. And this whole thought that Draymond Green is the heart and the leader of the locker room and the heartbeat of the Golden State Warriors, to me, is a bunch of BS. And I wish that the media stopped pushing that narrative and storyline because it's not good. And to me, it's not real. I don't believe that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, guys I believe that won 4 championships, I don't think that they go off of the beat from Draymond's drum at this point. Those guys have been in the fire, each and every one of them. They know what it takes. They go home in game 3 after being down 2-0 to Sacramento. They get a good win last night, I believe, against the Kings without Draymond Green. So they know they can win without this guy. They got 4 championships. Those guys specifically does not need this quote unquote leadership or this quote unquote heartbeat that Draymond Green is quote unquote bringing to this franchise. I think those days are over. Those guys are solidified. Now, let's talk about the younger guys, the Kumingas, the Jordan Pooles, what's his name, DaVincio, like those the role players. What Draymond Green is bringing to the table since the beginning of this year, you can't convince me has been good for those guys' development. He started the year off punching Jordan Poole. He started this podcast. The podcast got hot, but in a lot of people's opinion, the team suffered for it, having their worst road performance in years as far as a record go. You know, people think that that's partially due to lack of focus. Draymond pretty much promises a podcast after every game, win or lose. As fans of content creators, we love it. We love to hear the insight, you know, the immediate response, unfiltered, uninterrupted. But it's cost this team a lot. And now they got an uphill battle to climb. He steps on Sabonis' chest in game 2. You know, he had his foot grabbed. But again, Joe Dumars made it perfectly clear when he broke down and explained the reason of Draymond being suspended for game 3. And I watched a lot of different platforms try to argue about why would Draymond Green be suspended for game 3 when he was tossed out in game 2, which played a role in Golden State losing. And I'm like, bro, that is a bunch of cap because number one, when has Draymond been so instrumental in a win or a loss for Golden State? Let's be real. Let's be real. I don't think the deciding factor of that game was Draymond being on the court. His productivity doesn't reflect that being a real statement. Let's just be honest. But more importantly than that, it's like they shown that they don't need him to win. He's not setting a good example for the younger guys. He started this podcast. It seemed like he put himself above the team. They're losing. They're getting older. I just don't see them keeping Draymond anymore. I don't see the asset in that. He is, to me, become a total liability. at this point. Can you still like Draymond? To me, people say he's a Hall of Famer, stuff like that. I don't really want to dispute that. He's won 4 championships. He's played a role, so I guess you'll put him in there as being one of the all-time greatest. But I always felt like his attitude, things that doesn't involve the actual game, has always overshadowed his game, and he's cool with that. And I think it's funny sometimes at a point. It may have been funny a few years ago, but the expectation level, the standards, is different now in Golden State. This guy's one of the reasons why Kevin Durant is no longer in Golden State. I know they won the championship last year, but who knows how successful and dominant Golden State would be as a franchise if KD would have never left. If that situation would have never happened with Draymond and KD, I mean, what are we talking about? Golden State could maybe have what? 6, 7, 8 championships right now in a row. So, Draymond Green, to me, even though he's played such a big role in the dynasty, at the end of the day, he's doing more harm than good. And the team is paying for it. If Golden State was still winning or, had their head above water, you want to talk that Draymond is Draymond stuff, I'm cool with that. But the bottom line to me, man, their road performances was awful. They start this playoffs down 2-0. Now, I'm not counting them out. I honestly believe they'll come back and beat San Antonio. I was never sold that the Kings could beat Golden State in a 7-game series, with or without Draymond. Those guys have just been battle-tested too much. But they making it harder on themselves. They lost both games on the road, and they played terrible on the road, so it's kind of expected. But now they have to win games at home. They won last night. They have to win next game. They can't afford to be down 3-1. I wouldn't write them off, but just knowing how they play on the road, knowing that Sacramento has home court advantage in this round, Golden State has to win game 4. Must win, in my opinion. If they lose, it could still go 7, but, you're looking at Golden State having to win this series on the road. And history have shown this year that they have no success playing on the road in the regular seasons or right now in the playoffs, even though it's a lot of basketball left. So I think Golden State is definitely better off without Draymond at this point. He's more of a liability than an asset. He still brings things to the table. He still will have his moments, but those moments are not really outshining everything else, if you want to be honest. So that's where I stand at when it comes to that.